Hello, this is Dr. Lynn. Today we're going to be talking about the organic acid test, or the OAT. This is a very crucial test that I run in my total wellness package patients or functional medicine patients. It gives me a lot of valuable information. It kind of fills in all the gaps that are missing in the other tests, and it pretty much gives me a full picture of what's going on. You got to be a good detective when you're trying to do this type of work. So, what is an organic acid test? Well, it's something that measures organic acids. Your cells go through various processes and it makes waste products. And the waste products get dumped into the urine, and we can measure these wastes in the urine. We can see what your cells are doing at a cellular level. Okay, it kind of tells us about the metabolism of your cells, not to mention many more things that this test tells us. It gives us a way to measure if you're getting enough nutrients, but more importantly, how are you using those nutrients? We need to know that. And this test gives us some insight into these things. All right, so there are 75 markers on the organic acid test. It's very complex. I just want to go over it briefly with you so you get some general idea, because you could talk for a long time on this stuff. All right, now the first 18 markers on this thing measure infections, clostridial infections, yeast overgrowth, and other bacterial markers like mold. Okay, we need to know if this is going on in your body so that we can eradicate the problem. Now, Clostridia is a bacteria that is usually found in children that have autism, behavioral problems, learning disabilities, dyslexic, things of this nature. These kids often are found with a Clostridia infection. I wish the medical community would be more on this, but they're just not. So you're going to be getting Clostridia measured. You're going to be measuring yeast overgrowth. Do you have a Candida infection? Especially in the upper GI tract. The GI map test that we do for the lower GI tract will pick it up in the lower GI study. All right, and mold. Are you exposed to toxic mold? For example, the Hurricane Katrina. People got sick. They couldn't breathe because of all the moisture that got into their carpeting, their walls. They're inhaling this mold, and it's causing a lot of problems, and it is definitely not a good place to be. It's very toxic. All right, then markers 19 through 21, we're going to be measuring oxalates. What are oxalates? Oxalates are found in our food. Are we breaking them down properly? Are they accumulating? We can measure this through the organic acid test. The thing about oxalates is it causes kidney stones. 80% of kidney stones are calcium oxalate. They make these crystals that are sharp as glass. Okay, and it's very painful to, of course, pass these stones. Also, which is detrimental, is that these oxalate crystals get deposited in our joints and muscles, so they can cause joint pain, muscle aches, and things of this nature. You can bind oxalates. You can change your diet, get a low oxalate diet. There's things you can do to get your oxalates under control. Marker 22 and 23 are, how are your cells using carbohydrates, sugar? Is your cell able to metabolize the sugar? Or are you not metabolizing sugar? Okay, it's going to tell us if you're going to be producing energy at the cellular level, your ATP molecules. It tells us about your Krebs cycle. How are you making energy, and are you using glucose as the main fuel? It's very important. You might get tired if you're not getting your glucose into the cell. You might get a lot of fatigue. A lot of people are having issues with that. It also tells us if we're acidic, inflamed, and it can tell us why someone could be in pain. Markers 24 through 32 are markers for mitochondrial function. If you remember the mitochondria, go back, way back when you went to school. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. That's where you make all your energy to drive all the cellular processes. It's the ATP maker, so to speak. All right? Now, when you have markers that tell us your mitochondria are not functioning properly, again, you're going to be fatigued, exhausted. You might get labeled as having chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia. All right, but more importantly than that, it tells us that the cell is stressed. Something is causing stress to the cell, most likely some toxicity that is somewhere in the body, and we have to dig in and find out the root cause of that toxicity so we can get your cells functioning properly and your mitochondria working. And there's a lot of nutritional things we can do for that. All right. Markers 33 through 39, evaluate your neurotransmitter activity, your dopamine, serotonin, your epinephrine, your norepinephrine. You need to know what those neurotransmitters are doing. So if you're depressed, you have anxiety, you just can't get happy, you can't get motivated, you don't have that drive, maybe your neurotransmitters are not being made properly, or you have some sort of a deficiency, or you have some sort of toxicity. We've got to dig in there. All right? On those neurotransmitters, it's going to be checking an organic acid called HVA, which tells us about dopamine. It's going to check VHA, which is going to tell us about epinephrine, norepinephrine, and 5-HIAA, which is going to tell us about serotonin, our happy neurotransmitter, the feel-good hormone. All right? Also, we're going to be checking for folate metabolism. Are you having any difficulty breaking down folic acid? Okay, and another one that's important to make energy. And it also tells us how your liver can detox hormones. It's called methylation. So we can get an insight into your detox pathways and your folate metabolism. Markers 42 through 49 tells us about your fat burning, your ketone burning. Is it proper? Are you burning fat properly, or are you having a hard time burning fat? A lot of people will have a high carbohydrate diet, and we'll be seeing that they're in ketosis from the ketone marker. This means that you're not getting sugar into that cell, and you've got some insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. It's a good marker to tell us what is going on. So if you're overweight, you got cravings, you just can't get it going, you might not be burning fat, and we need to look at the organic acids to see if that's happening. Markers 50 through 57 will tell us about nutritional deficiencies like your B vitamins, vitamin C, CoQ10, NAC. All these things need to be looked at, and if there is a deficiency, we can pretty much work it into a program so it boosts up your energy in the meantime while we're finding out what's causing all these problems. Is there an absorption problem? Is there a gut infection? Is there gut inflammation? Is there a dysbiosis? It could be so many things. Okay, and then we're going to, markers 58 through 61 are going to be looking at your detox system. Are you detoxing properly? Is your glutathione and NAC levels high enough to detoxify all the toxins that are coming into you? If we find a low glutathione marker, that means that you are really toxic and your body just can't keep up with the toxicity. It keeps running out of glutathione. Glutathione is your master antioxidant required to detox poisons from your body. So we're going to be looking at that. All right, and the last marker is phosphoric, which tells me if you have a vitamin D deficiency. Now, there's way more to it than this, but this is a general idea of what we're trying to do. We're trying to find little things in your metabolism that is causing problems, and we want to fix it. Okay, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, concerns, you want this test, just call our office, email us, and we'll be happy to take care of you. Thank you very much for listening.